we may finally know why early humans kept these mysterious stone balls around. Ancient archaeological sites across the northern hemisphere are littered with mystery, and where there were hominids, there could often be found roughly rounded spheres of stone. Some have been dated back over 2 million years ago, with marks suggesting that these balls had been deliberately shaped this way. New research has discovered a plausible purpose for these strange tools. Our ancestors could have been using them to smash open bones or to get to the nutritious marrow inside. The international team of researchers led by archaeologist Assaf of Tel Aviv University in Israel made a close examination of 10 such stones found at Kesem Cave, which is a lower Paleolithic site occupied by early humans between 400,000 and 200,000 years ago. This is curious because it's the latest known appearance of these tools, a time frame when other communities had long ago stopped using them. So Assaf and her team investigated to find out more about these stones and how they got there. Not only did they find evidence supporting the stones' use in bone marrow extraction in the stone artifacts themselves, they smashed open bones with replicas to determine their efficiency. Spoiler, bones were smashed, marrow extracted. She said, "We present new results from Middle Pleistocene Kesem Cave on the use of these implements as percussion tools," the researcher wrote in their paper. And they wrote, "As bone marrow played a central role in human nutrition in the lower Paleolithic, and our experimental results show that the morphology and characteristics of shaped stone ball replicas were well suited for the extraction of bone marrow, we suggest that these features might have been the reason for their collection and use in Kesem Cave." The team took a double-pronged approach to study the purpose of the balls. First, they thoroughly examined 29 ancient balls found at the cave. These are not perfectly rounded stones, but have rough ridges where flukes have been napped away. All but one of them, one was flint, were made out of dolomite or limestone, distinct from other rocks found in the area, and they had a different patina from other tools found in the cave. This suggests the stone balls had been stored in a different environment for some time before ending up at the Kesem Cave. It's interesting because it's consistent with earlier findings on other tools in the cave. Whoever the inhabitants were, they had a habit of finding tools in other places and bringing them home for their own use. In other words, they recycled. All of these 29 stone balls, 10 returned traces of use, wear, and residue, so the team conducted digital stereo microscopy and metallographic microscopy to examine them more closely. They analyzed residues found in the marks associated with the use wear and made an interesting discovery. Archaeological residues have morphological features, appearance, color, and distribution compatible with compact and spongy bone, organic bone, glossy film, collagen fibers, and animal fatty matters observed on experimental stone balls used in bone marrow extraction activities. This is what they wrote in their paper. In particular, on the top of the prominent ridges, residue appears as spots of organic film with a glossy and often striated appearance. They coexist with spots of crushed amorphous white residue consistent with bone fat and collagen fibers, sometimes also smeared and crushed into the tool's scars. That brings us to the second prong. Based on the use, wear, scars, and residue patterns, the team first napped their own balls out of different kinds of rock, then tested them on cow and sheep bones. They also tested naturally shaped smooth stones, and they found that the replicas of the Kesem Cave stones were the most efficient at cracking open bone to get to the marrow therein, and that the ridges helped crack the bone in a clean break. This suggests that the cave inhabitants were smart enough to know a good thing when they saw it. Why perform the arduous work of making a new tool when a perfectly fine one was available? This also matches up with research published last year. Another team of researchers presented evidence that bone marrow was a very important part of the diet of the unknown hominins who inhabited Kesem Cave, so important that they would store it up for up to 9 weeks to keep in rich food source available for later consumption. And so not only do we know that bone marrow was deeply important to the inhabitants of the Kesem Cave, We also know that they were pretty savvy when it came to food resources. These results shed light on the function of shaped stone balls and are consistent with the significance of animal fat in the caloric intake of Middle Pleistocene humans, as shown in the archaeozoological evidence of the Kesem cave, and possibly beyond. This is what the researchers wrote. But as to what the balls were used for before they came to Kesem cave, well, that's still a big old mystery waiting to be solved. This research was published on PLOS One, and it's on Science Alert by Michael Starr. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.